Hello and welcome to Steve's Soft Drink Shack. On today's episode, we're checking out a wartime classic. It's the story about how a drink made out of necessity could eventually take over the world. It's Fanta! Fanta was created out of necessity by Coca-Cola Deutschland during the Second World War. Coca-Cola, both the company and the product, were a success in Germany at the time. By 1939, the company had 43 bottling plants in the country. But with the outbreak of the war and with the Americans joining up in 1941, it became impossible for Coca-Cola Deutschland to import Coca-Cola syrup or its constituent ingredients. Instead, the company opted to make an all-new soft drink using ingredients that were available in Germany at the time. That meant things like leftover fruit pulp from cider presses and whey from cheese production. Max Kite, then head of Coca-Cola Deutschland, referred to these ingredients as the leftovers of the leftovers. It was Kite's suggestion that his employees use their imagination, or German fantasy, to come up with a name for the drink. The name Fanta was immediately suggested. This version of Fanta likely wasn't particularly good. It would have been a dull brown liquid, not unlike today's ginger ale, that would have been vaguely sweet. Apparently in an era of severe sugar rationing, Fanta was a popular additive for soups and stews. The German government placed Kite in charge of Coca-Cola operations in other Axis-controlled territories too, and they began producing their own regional variations of Fanta. With no competition on the market, Fanta sold well enough to keep Coca-Cola Deutschland afloat throughout the war. Once the war ended in 1945, Coca-Cola Deutschland was reunited with the Coca-Cola Company and brought with it the Fanta brand name and formula, as well as the profits it made during the wartime years. Fanta as we know it today can be traced back to Italy in 1955. A Coca-Cola bottler in Naples made an orange soda using locally made oranges. The Coca-Cola Company decided to use the Fanta brand name because it already existed, and that was easier and cheaper than coming up with something new. Fanta is now available all over the world in well over 100 flavors. Here, today I've got a can of Fanta Exotic. This is supposedly passion fruit, peach, and orange flavor. This is popular in Eastern Europe and Northern Europe. This particular can came from Denmark. I didn't go to Denmark to buy it though. I actually found it in Iroquois Falls in a little store called Fuddy Duddy's. Who knew? Anyway, let's check it out. I smell the peach and the passion fruit more than anything else, and it has a color that's almost like guava juice or like a more concentrated rose water. Okay, whoa, interesting. It's very sweet, like you would expect from a fruity Fanta, and it has that fruity flavor. Absolutely get a bit of the peach in there, but it's more dominated by the passion fruit. It almost has a bit of that sort of astringent quality that you get. It's different. It's very good. It's unmistakably still a sweet fruit pop, but it's a bit more complex in its flavor, not one that I'm used to. This is pretty good. I wonder why it's not available here. I feel like it would do as well as any of the other Fanta flavors that we have here, but who knows? Anyway, Fanta Exotic's pretty cool, and Fanta in general is pretty cool. Thanks for checking out this episode.